Moose foodback for moose in this area, moose poop, moose foodback cow pies, cold moose pellet, cow pie, moose activity, defense against moose for moose. Welcome back, and welcome back to segment 5. We're just carrying over from segment 4, which kicked my butt. I don't know about Remy, but he's taking a little bit of a snooze right now. We are taking a longer lunch break and stretching it out and just letting our feet air out too. And we're gonna hike about 3 miles into the segment and try to find a camp spot. There's some seasonal creeks along the way which should still be flowing. So pretty much between 2 to 3 miles, I'm just gonna find a campsite and make sure we get camp set up with plenty of sunlight left. Segment 5, the total segment is 14.6 miles and a total elevation gain at just about 1,900 feet. So we will kind of start at the top, then descend and climb back up again. So it should be pretty rolling. The elevation profile doesn't look too bad. I'm going to review it again and then we'll see what it brings in the morning. But anyways, here we go. So we switched on over to my iPhone recording because they said 20% chance of storm rolling in around 5, but it definitely has some dark clouds and I definitely hear thunder. So we just packed everything up and put our rain cover on and raincoats and just trying to hustle before that 20% becomes 100%. Okay, so we are at camp and it's actually kind of chilly. It's about 49 degrees, but breezy. I got everything set up and water filtered by the time it started sprinkling a little bit, but I think it's gonna be cold tonight. So I'm still glad I brought my 20-degree bag, which just happens to also be my lightest sleeping bag. Remy is definitely tuckered out. Just snoozing away, my little guy. So cute. But yeah, we ended up losing our bee-free filter earlier. Must have just fallen out of the side pocket because sometimes it gets a little bit wobbly when you don't have enough air or water in there. So luckily I do actually have an extra filter at home. Just need to get a new 1-liter bottle, though they do work with my Hydro Pack, so maybe I'll see if they're on sale first before I buy a new one. But anyways, yeah, so we're at about the 2.9 miles in. It's a campsite that was in the data book, and the creek here is flowing, which is really, really nice. So much flatter than yesterday. But our camp neighbor is one of the same girls who was at the previous campsite. So we're both here. And yeah, if you're super tired coming off of segment 4, I would suggest camping at the intersection at segment 4 and segment 5 in Long Gulch. There's a super flat spot there. Someone had built a fire pit and there's water right there. And so there is absolutely no camping spots that this first 3 miles in. So if you don't think you can make it another 3 miles, but definitely camp at that intersection there. It's kind of weird coming in because it's a bunch of aspen, but then there's also a bunch of dead trees, and then there's Bristol cone pine, but it kind of is a little bit creepy because there's a lot of widowmakers, dead trees, and you just hear all these weird noises, especially when it's windy, and I was the only one on the trail coming in. So we are just going to, actually for dinner, I just kind of made a bunch of snacks. A lot of the times I don't get hungry for dinner, so I think I'm overpacking on food. So I'll have to rethink my food strategy for the thru hike later on this year, because I definitely brought probably more food than I needed, just based on what I usually eat. But yeah, we're just gonna read and probably fall asleep pretty early tonight. We did a total of maybe 12 plus 3, total of 15 miles today. So one of our longer days, and obviously segment 4 kicked my butt. So I'm sure it kicked Remy's butt too, since he's all tuckered out. But it means we'll see you in the morning. Good morning, everybody. We are getting our hike going. Oops, campers. I was trying to get away from our campsite, and there was some more campers across the little creek here. So the total mileage for segment 5 is 14.6 miles, about 2,000 feet of elevation gain. We've gone about 3 miles already with 500, so about 1,500 feet of elevation gain. And looking at the elevation profile, it looks like we passed through the steepest grades already, so this should be pretty rolling. And there's a little bit more climb this morning, then a descent, and then a climb back up. But we've already reached our peak elevation. That's pretty much where we camped at the creek last night. And we're just gonna try to make up some miles because it is supposed to be rainy pretty much all day, with the bulk of it coming in about 9 a.m. this morning, so it's about 8. So we're gonna try to get a lot of miles in this morning. We've already got all of our rain gear out and ready. And yeah, hopefully it'll be a good hike this morning, not like yesterday, segment 4, which kicked our butts. I don't know how many times I've said that already. Anyways, here we go.
I need you closer than ever.
Oh, and I wanted to say you definitely need to watch out for moose in this area. Even the campsites had a ton of moose poop. And for those of you guys who don't know, moose poop actually looks different sometimes in the spring, so they eat a lot of greener type material, so a lot more fiber, and it can look like those big cow pies. So if you see like the typical moose pellets and the cow pies, that's all moose activity. And it's kind of in this marshy area, so just be aware, because some of your defense against moose is they charge at you to hide behind a tree, but there's no trees down there. So just be careful and be on the lookout for moose.
You'll be staying always by my side. I'll never let you go. No, I'll never let you go. You stay with me. I'll never let you go. No, I'll never let you go. You stay with me until the end of time. I used to look to the sky, and all I saw was rain. I spent my lonely nights trying not to feel the pain. With you, I'm like a flower that sees.
So for those of you new to trail markings in the wilderness area, there's not going to be any Colorado Trail signage. It's just going to be a long streak followed by a shorter streak on top. So those are your trail markings while you're in the wilderness area.
And look into my eyes. You'll be staying always by my side.
So the terrain so far actually has been pretty cool. Like you go through the creepy forest, come out into like a grassy open area, then go through a little aspen grove and then back into the forest again. So it's kind of a nice start to the morning. I definitely have seen elk and deer poop around. We had those camp visitors this morning. So this is kind of also the time when they are the most active, in the early morning and then later in the evening, looking for food and water. But haven't seen anything on trail yet.
I'll never let you go.
So way off in the distance over there, that should be the Buffalo Peak Wilderness, and we've actually hiked that. Definitely a great day hike or maybe a one-nighter. It's a 12-mile loop and it's good for beginner backpack. So if you're interested in starting to get backpacking, that is a really good loop in Colorado's the Buffalo Peak Wilderness. And maybe I'll put a link in the description below to that.
Until the end of time.
And we are exiting, there's the sign, the wilderness area once again. So we just hit 4 miles and it's just amazing the difference between yesterday and today. But we got about 2 more miles until we hit our low point, which is right around 9,500 feet. And then we'll start to climb. And then we'll climb for about, let's see, 3.5 miles, gaining about 1,000 feet in elevation. So it should be just a slow, steady climb up, nothing more than a 10% grade when I look at the elevation profile. So it definitely will be a glute buster, but not like yesterday where we were getting 15 to 20% grades, plus the blowdowns, plus the snowpacks, which made our legs feel a little bit like gummy worms. Anyways, continuing on. We're liking this hike so far, getting some good mileage. So after that low point, you've actually got a bit of a climb, small climb, but nonetheless, climb up a old logging road again. But at that low point, there's also a water source, a creek there, so good to take a little bit of a break, top off your water and make that little bit of a climb. And then you'll come up to, I think it's Miller Point Trailhead, and then you're gonna go back down before you start the end this climb up to the top. But it wasn't too bad. I just shed my rain jacket because so far blue skies kind of come out. I think I'll be able to feel when the storm comes in. And we're going to head it into areas with lots of exposure. So sun hoodie, that's us. Hang on. So that was Rock Creek Trailhead, just where you pass and then you start your decline into this nice little aspen field. And I think there's a water source a couple miles ahead. So we're going to stop there to top off our water. And that means we should probably be good to go for the rest of the day for water and make it back to our car at the trailhead. So, way back there, if you can see it on this camera, snow peaks, that should be Mountain Lincoln. And then Quandary should be right over there. 2 14ers. I don't think you can see Sherman. It's probably hidden by the clouds. There should be the view of Sherman. Just had to climb up a little bit longer. So Sherman, Lincoln, and Quandary's can't see because that bush is in the way. So we're at about 10,000 feet, but when you're about 10 miles in, you can get some amazing view of the 10-mile range here and all of these 14ers. So just continue to climb and continue to look back over your shoulder just so you can see the whole landscape. It's absolutely beautiful. And on a clear day, this would just be amazing.
And now I want more.
So this area definitely does have a lot of exposure, but it kind of fades in and out with some tree coverage, so we're underneath some trees right now. And if you have a dog, definitely look at the TREX app during this segment, because it'll tell you when you're about to go under and have some shade, and then that's a good place to take breaks. But I'll say climb on this one is slow and steady, but you do get the great views. So that's what's so great about this segment, is at least the climb is worth it for those views in the end. So we did just stop for a snack break and a potty break. And then suddenly the temperature started to drop. The breeze got really cold. So this is what's coming in. See all of this. We still have about 3 miles to go, but I think we're almost to our peak, so hopefully we'll be able to pick up some good timing on our descent, and it should be underneath some tree cover, which would help from the rain. Anyways, carrying on, almost done.
Waiting just beyond the door, and I found something. I found something I was searching for. I found something I was searching for.
So that rain turned into little bitty pieces of hail. So not too bad. Got just over a mile to go. And the tree coverage are these aspen and baby aspen, and a lot of aspen that don't have their leaves yet. So not much in terms of protection from the rain, but we're hustling. So, segment 5 is done, and that's 14.6 miles off of our 500 miles of fun in 2021. But first, it's the Colorado Trail Disco Dance Party.